So now that the Mistress Mind experiment is over and you basically have the tools to keep doing this, you can do this alone, or you can do this in a Mistress Mind, or if you are more the one-to-one type, there is another option for you. Now, I'm going to let you know that this is not for everyone. This is something that is for those who are highly motivated, willing to invest in themselves at a higher level, and who are going to do the work. Because as a coach, I'm all about you doing the work. If you're not doing the work, you might as well just keep getting free information. But if you're really serious about joining and you want to invest in yourself, then there's two different paths that you can take. One is the self-study VIP, which means that you can basically go through the live trainings that have now been recorded and basically implement. And I'll probably build another program on top of that in the future that you can also purchase and go through. But self-study VIP comes with a laser coaching strategy session on growing your garden of abundance, where we basically laser focused on your talents and where you're most magnetic. Because what we want to do is double down on where you're most magnetic. Is it in writing or is it in speaking? If you're not comfortable being on camera, but you are an amazing writer, then that's where your skill is. But we need to find where you're most magnetic and where you're most comfortable actually speaking your message. And then we double down on that. And then the next thing we look at is your hidden challenges, your blocks, your lifestyle. I mean, with moms, sometimes it's like, I'm postpartum right now. I don't have a lot of energy and I don't even have predictable schedule. How do I get a business that works for me? And that's how we basically structure the ecosystem. And I can tell you in 15 minutes what would be the most helpful, because before we have that actual call, you write out in an application and tell me all of your challenges. And I'm like, okay, I've got it. So then we're just going to focus on that. That's $97. So it's nice and easy and accessible. And if you'd like that, then all you have to do is either message me on LinkedIn or message me on Instagram. And that will get you right in front of me, because I have both on my app on my phone. So I'll be able, like, that's the fastest way to get to me. It's faster than email and it's faster than trying to do an application process. Of course, if you're really serious, and this is what I kind of hinted at, then I have something else for you as well. Now, this, again, as I said, is not meant for everyone, and I do have limited seating because this is where we're going to be sitting down each week for about an hour. Or if you don't have that time frame available, we can do a recorded version, but I'm going to be having my eyes on your business. I'm going to be having eyes on your lifestyle. I'm going to be having eyes on your dreams, your hopes, your challenges, your fears. I'm going to personally walk you through and figure out where you're stuck and help you get to the point where you can build your own ecosystem. So the thing is that the ecosystem of attraction does not look the same for every single mamaprenista. The ecosystem of attraction is based on where you're at now. Maybe you don't have a ton of content created yet. That's okay. We can start looking at creating that content, and it doesn't have to be a lot. Now, I have a very extensive library, but I don't want you to compare yourself to me, because I've been doing this and I was taking a lot of implementation because that was part of the actual deal for me getting the scholarships into the programs. So I did a lot of work in the background, and then I just noticed how it compounded on Google, and how when Google AI came out, how that really actually built up my authority and positioning. And then I had built the ecosystem of attraction back in 2023, and I've been refining it for a long time. So my ecosystem is a lot more sophisticated than what your ecosystem is going to be. But what we do is we build the foundation of the ecosystem so that it can grow with you. So here it is. It's structured. Here's the curriculum. Okay. So phase 1 is the blueprint and foundation. So that's within months 1 to 2. And what the goal is I'm going to audit your business, install the 3-pillar eco framework. So we're going to look at education. Where are you already teaching? Where are you already connecting to other people? Where are you also connecting your testimonials if you have them? And also where your offers are. We're going to perfect that. And we're going to stop your current time leaks because you're a mom, you don't have a lot of time. So we're going to be optimizing that hour to really focus. So month 1, the Scorpio X-ray audit and 3 pillars. So I have a way of essentially when a client comes to me and they tell me about their business, then I can kind of laser focus on where they're already magnetic and where they're shining through. Even though I technically had the birth business, when I was in Virtual Coach Accelerator, we had a rule of we coach each other on different things. And I actually have a lot of skills in coaching my friends in the program on their businesses. So that's where my business coaching actually comes from. That's where I'm able to laser focus because I was practicing for over 18 months with everybody in the room. And I was able to do anything from branding to social media to like just sales and help perfect things. So that's one thing that you need to know about me is I have laser focus X-ray vision when it comes to business success. And I'm going to basically audit and give you those 3 pillars. So we're going to use my intense discernment to strip away the expensive hobby tasks that you're wasting your time on. And, building an email funnel can sometimes be a time waster. You can have a much more streamlined process if you just say, hey, DM me. Automation can be good. Okay. I'm not going to say that automation's not awesome, but automation is needing to be a filtration system. It's not a spam fest. And there's a lot of things when you create your email sequences. I see this with mompernistas, and I'm like, this is losing people. This is causing people to unsubscribe or not even unsubscribe, but just ghost your emails and leave them unopened. And I have a 50% open rate when I do send my emails out, my email newsletters, because I actually deliver value. So I was taught how to do this within Virtual Coach Accelerator, and I'm going to take that knowledge and help you. I'm also going to define your core high ticket offer and align it to your authentic sovereign identity. So even if you have a high ticket offer, and then you're like, well, wait a minute, though, I don't want to take on a whole bunch of calls. That's why we price it at a certain point. And that's why we also streamline it to you. Like some of my clients, they can't get on calls with me. They're on the other side of the world. So what I have to do instead is I adjust my high ticket offer and I'm like, okay, well, for this price instead, what we'll do is I'll record videos for you that are personalized. You give me your email downloads of what's going on in your business, and then I will streamline it from there. And then when we have time, we will get on an actual call. But there's ways to work around this, okay? Is what I want you to know is like there is ways to work around this. We're going to map out your custom education connection and offer the eco pillars based on your unique human design type and the seasons of motherhood that you're in. So I'm a reflector. So my education content, I go from 2 dichotomies. I go from one side of the dichotomy to the other, and then I show the bridge in the middle. You may have a different way of actually delivering your education based on your own human design. So with projectors, for instance, you need to wait for the invitation. For manifesting generators, you need to only be doing things that light you up, but you also have diverse interests. There's so much to understand about human design. And I use my own AI features with ChatGPT and Claude to help you understand where you're actually like on that scale. So we find out what your design type is. We find out what you're most likely able to do for your connections. So the lines, and then we go from there. There's also the seasons of motherhood, which if you are curious about the seasons of motherhood, I have that report inside my link tree. So you can go and check that out. So month 2, we're going to be coding the core asset and the ecosystem filter. This is how I was able to get Google to essentially know who I am and what I'm about. So we're going to build your primary lead generation diagnostic asset similar to the Seasons of Business Building report. And that basically means that we're going to look at your content and how you're running your funnels and how we can actually make that better. And then we're going to set up your automated gatekeeper system to filter out low budget tire kickers before they ever get a meeting. So another thing about funnels and email is that I basically created my email as another filtration system. I didn't want everybody on my list. I wanted the people who were actually going to open up the emails because it's important to have that conversion of opening the emails in order for the email to not think that you're spam. So the next thing, the deliverable, by the end of the week 8, you'll have a crystal clear high ticket offer and a system ready to catch leads. Like we'll already have that built by month 2. Then we're going into phase 2, okay? So the multi-platform engineering and SEO compounding is months 3 and 4. The goal is to move you off of the 48-hour Instagram hamster wheel or TikTok hamster wheel and force Google to index your brand, authority, mirroring, and what I've achieved across my platforms. So month 3 is the omnipresent content architecture. I'm going to train you on how to write your content once or create your content once and systematically deploy it across LinkedIn for B2B authority, Threads and Instagram for raw high frequency messaging, and YouTube for long form authority. I'm going to teach you the exact mechanics of keywords and formatting so that your brand becomes searchable on Google. And then month 4, the network multiplication engine. I'm going to show you how to set up a compounding network asset, such as a podcast or a collaborative interview series like what I have for the Empowered Mom Hour. I'm going to teach you how to get other talented professionals to distribute your ecosystem for you, driving high ticket visibility without extra manual labor, so you don't have to run ads. And the deliverable is that your content is now working 10 times harder, compounding across multiple platforms while you spend less time filming daily videos. I mean, I pick up my phone, I film one video, and then I put it across both my Facebook, my Instagram, and LinkedIn, and I'm getting traction on them. LinkedIn is actually building more comments, and Gifty Enright has also been paying attention to them. She's been following them. She's been commenting on them. So they're getting traction. And what I'm doing is I'm building a content library on LinkedIn because I never know where people are going to start checking me out. And that's the thing is that when you create your content, you want it to be a content library that compounds, that constantly has the same message. Like, share, subscribe, pay it forward, pass it on. A drop in the ocean creates ripples. Many ripples create waves. Enough waves change the tide. I mean, that is pretty much on all of my content. It tells that's what I want them to do. So you can create your own little framework and your own mantra that you say at the end of your videos that then people are like, oh yeah, if I want to talk to this person, this is what I need to do. Phase 3 is the 1-year velocity launch and cash infusion, months 5 and 6. The goal is we're going to execute a high-speed launch to pull in your next 3 to 5 high-ticket clients, secure your ROI, return of investment, and hand you total time autonomy. So the launch looks different for moms, and it doesn't have to be a high intensity launch. It can be as simple as recording for 2 hours in a little mini program that you then put on YouTube, and then you drive traffic to that program. And it doesn't have to be a launch where you have the deliverable come in right away. It can be an evergreen launch. So there's a difference between an evergreen launch and one that's live. So you don't have to do a live launch. Launching can be really helpful And technically, what I'm doing with this actual training series is I've done it. I've already created a launch here. I've created an evergreen launch for this new program. So what we're going to do is the uncensored coding launch. We're going to implement my disruptive high intensity messaging framework. So what this means is that when you're out on social media, you find out what traps people are falling into, or misconceptions or challenges that they have that your product or your service already solves for them. And then you also mention your way versus the old way. So the launch is a 3-part targeted video and text campaign designed to call out the exact marketing crisis your ideal clients are facing. So recognizing, like, for instance, in the wintertime, I recorded a 2-hour training broken up into several different videos, launched over 1 week, called the Question Your Induction Mini Challenge. And this is another evergreen launch that basically leads into, if you want to get a call with me, then you book a $97 session. Or you can go and check out your Empowered Birth Academy, which was paid, but now it's also one of my programs that I just have out there, because courses alone are not going to do it anymore, because information, as I mentioned before, is free and accessible and anybody can get that information. But what you really need to know is that you're going to get more money by selling high ticket. So I'm also going to train you in another part, which is the high-speed 15-minute laser coaching closing scripts to lock in high-ticket buyers without exhausting 60-minute pitch calls. Now, let me just be clear, okay? You need to already be a coach. You already need to be coaching people. You need to be able to have your methods. All I'm really going to do is help you learn how to cut out the fluff and focus more on the coaching, because when you're really good at your job, you can boil it down to 15 minutes. You don't have to give everything. And a lot of times what coaches do is they give so much information that it overwhelms their clients. And also, when you're a mom and you're trying to coach clients, trying to spend an hour on a call all the time doesn't help. So sometimes it's best to start with those 15-minute sessions and then work your way up to deeper sessions when people are paying you more. So with these laser coaching sessions, what this allows you to do is say, I'm going to charge $97 for this laser coaching session. It's going to cost me 15 minutes of my time. It's going to allow me to see if somebody is ready for something deeper. And then if it's aligned, I can offer the invitation. But if you do a whole bunch of free discovery calls, that takes you away from the ability to make money in your business. And you really don't have the time to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do that laser coaching. And there's also something called video coaching. Now, laser coaching and video coaching is not my design. It's something that I picked up from mentors of mentors that, like, basically, or students of mentors, like, they're basically in connection with my mentors. And then that's just rippled out over the course of several years because more people are adopting this method. Now, month 6, I love, is autonomy, scale, and sovereign hands off. So we're going to optimize your delivery system so you can coach more clients in fewer hours. That's part of the laser coaching and also with the automation. We're going to finalize your long-term operational calendar so your ecosystem keeps running on autopilot when you step away to be with your kids. Now, I personally have in my calendar, I change things up because I have a very flexible schedule. And I need to have that flexibility because you never know when things come up, especially with the ecosystem. Sometimes people are like, oh, I want to work with you, and they just show up. And then other times you'll get like podcast speaking opportunities. Like, these things compound over time. So what you really need to know is like how to protect your calendar, and there's different ways to do that. Then the deliverable is a fully functioning compounding business engine that buys back your time and produces predictable wealth. And that's essentially it. So how to reply? Your next step is to book your $97 Grow Your Garden of Abundance Clarity session, where we'll laser focus on your exact dream for the business and identify hidden challenges that are secretly sabotaging your process. You'll walk away with a clear vision and roadmap to start with, and the full And if the full program is right for you, we'll talk about what that can look like. Every client gets a fully unique to them session, and no two ecosystems are the same. Now, I just want to let you know again that I'm very busy and I adjust my times on my calendar around my clients' needs and also around what comes through in the ecosystem and what comes through in the rest of my life. I mean, sometimes my kids have some events that come up and I need to be there for that. So, what I do is I schedule my calendar about 2 weeks out. And I usually get the tip off to do that through DMs. So if you come to me through DMs and you say, hey, I want to work with you, I'd like to book a session. The first thing I try to do is give you an option to book within the time constraints I already have. And I'll be like, okay, well, what's your schedule look like for next week? And then you tell me, and then I find a time that's like, well, how about this time? And you say yes. And I say, perfect. And I go on Zoom and I immediately book that time in on the calendar. The other way, which is a lot less efficient, is that you tell me that you want to work with me. I say, okay, cool. We can't find a time that works right away. So then I go into Calendly. I adjust my schedule based on what I already have available. And then I say, okay, now you can book within one of those times that's convenient. But that way takes a lot longer. That's why I prefer for you to DM me. If this is interesting to you, if you're curious, if you'd like to know more, if you'd like more material on this, or if you'd like to ask a few clarifying questions, DMing me is the fastest way to actually having a conversation. So there's a lot that I've built with this ecosystem, and that's why I now have this Grow Your Garden of Abundance mentorship. So if you're interested in that, you know what to do, okay? So thank you so much for going on this journey with me. I hope that gave you a lot of value and showed you what you can do with your own ecosystem of attraction. Now, again, as I said, you have two options. One is you take what you've learned and you go apply it on your own, and then you tell me the results later, and I'm going to be clapping for you. And the other one is if you'd like some more direct help, there are 3 basic options. One is you go and get the deeper level Mistress Mind training. All you have to do is DM me. The same thing is if you'd like to just book a clarity session right off the bat, and we can talk about where you're wanting to go. If you prefer to do group, then we do have the group Mistress Mind option. And if you prefer to do one-to-one, I have that option for you as well. So now you know what I have on offer. Thank you so much for watching. If you found value in this, please like, share, subscribe, pay it forward, pass it on. A drop in the ocean creates ripples. Many ripples create waves, and enough waves can change the tide. And here at Empowering Moms, I'm all about changing the tide. So have a happy, empowered birth journey, whether you're birthing a baby, a business, a movement, an impact, or a new version of yourself. Let Empowering Moms be your guide. And I will see you next time. Namaste.